BlogTalk Radio.
Listen, I'm from a heartless land, grew up hard and fast. Where they say like the precious, but it's hard to last. I'm from a heartless land, grew up hard and fast. Where they say like the precious, but it's hard to last. This where the greatest from, outsiders never come. This where we grown men, but still call each other son. This where we limited choices on what we become. We end up dead or in the pen before we 21. Welcome to Brooklyn, homie. It ain't all bad. It ain't all drugs and violence. It ain't all sad. Young niggas in the hood wearing dog tags. Little chicks looking good with baton bags. Shout out to Crown Heights. Shout out to E.N.Y. Shout out to Brownsville. I come from Bed-Stuy. I come from dead broke, hustling the crack wave. Remember Base Harry Field from my crack days. I went from having D's on me now to having things. Come back to Brooklyn just to let them know I haven't changed. Still rolling with my cheese all day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still pop up in the hood any day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still me, never change for a day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still hollering BK, BK. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. Yeah, we still getting by. We getting fly. Pour that Henny for my homies that's up in the sky. Hustle hard, chasing paper, staying on our grind. No place on earth is like Brooklyn in the summertime. On them corners, having dreams of living big time. Feeling trapped on a block, reciting big rhymes. It's unbelievable, I made it out of poverty. I survived when they try to make it hard for me. Tell me you ain't proud of me. Brooklyn is a part of me. Clifton and Nostrand, the corner that started me. What up to Fort Greene? What up to Red Hook? I'm coming through, I got a bad bitch in Flatbush. This for my road dog, still behind prison walls. I send them bitches, let me standing on a Rolls Royce. I told them that I won't be gone long. Never get Hollywood, I'm coming back home. Still rolling with my cheese all day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still pop up in the hood any day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still me, never change for a day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still hollering BK, BK. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. Yeah, I'm just a Brooklyn boy in my Brooklyn mode. I never let these haters take me out my Brooklyn zone. I've been around the world but only call Brooklyn home. I'm on TV now, watch me get my Brooklyn on. This for my homies, yup, this for they mothers too. This for the ones who lost their sons on them corners true. Facing the judge, middle fingers in the courtroom. We in and out of jail, trauma that we going through. We come up hard, no fathers, but we find a way. We rolling dice, getting high in the whole way. I celebrate life, look at me, I'm still living. Shout out to Gates, I done made it out of Coke Kitchen. Hope for the hood, the voice of the youth. I'm proof that us street niggas, we can do it too. So when you think of me, you think of Brooklyn now. I'm on that bridge, baby, you know I'm Brooklyn bound. Still rolling with my cheese all day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still pop up in the hood any day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still me, never change for a day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way. Still hollering BK, BK. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Brooklyn way.
What's going on, Bully World? It's Zeb. I'm your host of Bully Talk with Zeb Pitts. And tonight, my special guest is Mr. Fliction. What's going on, sir?
Yeah. What's poppin', Zeb? What's poppin', man?
It's your favorite tattoo artist, Mr. Fliction. What's going on, man?
That's right, man. It's your favorite tattooist, Fliction, and I'm in the building. Yo, man, what's up with that Mano joint you was just playing? Yo, you did that for me or something,
It's the Brooklyn way. You know I had to do it.
Yo, that you know what, man? That's a real song right there, man. You know, he was just, you know, I was just tattooing him in my shop last week, and everything, you know, he was saying, like, He rolled around the hood by himself. Like, he pull up in front of my shop by himself, come in, get at it, be out. You know, that's a hot joint right there, man. Shout out to Mano, man. Shout out to that mix CD, man. That mixtape, K.O.B., King of Brooklyn. On fire, man. I'm loving that right now. Shout out to all the mothers out there, too, man. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's right. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, man. Hope y'all enjoyed y'all day today. And I hope y'all listening in tonight because it's about to be on, man. Talk about growing up in Crown Heights in Brooklyn, man.
Actually, I didn't grow up in Crown Heights. I grew up right next door, actually a couple of blocks away, Park Slope.
Park Slope, okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Park Slope, Brooklyn. That's like right on the other side of Grand Army Plaza from Crown Heights. So the next neighborhood's Crown Heights, in other words. For anybody who don't know about Brooklyn, but yeah, my shop is in Crown Heights, but we're gonna get to that.
Okay, yeah. Talk about growing up in Park Slope back in the 70s and 80s, man.
70s, man. I'm an 80s baby. Nah, you know what, man? Park Slope went through a lot of changes, man. You know, with that gentrification and all that. It used to be bad when I was young out there, man. There was a lot of gangs. All them brownstones that we got out there was abandoned. You know, it was Section 8 all over the place. And it was just, you had the Italian side, and then you had the Puerto Rican and the black. It was different back then, man. Now that neighborhood, man, you can't even afford to live there. You know what I mean? Unless you're the mayor, because, you know, the new mayor of New York, de Blassie, he lives in Park Slope, so you could just imagine how the rent is out there in them brown. You can't even buy them brownstones for less than like $4 million now. You know, I used to run.
That seems to be going on. I said that seems to be going on through all parts of New York right now, right? With the neighborhood
Brooklyn, especially Brooklyn, man. You know, like when I first opened up a shop, it was in Park Slope. I figured, you know, I'll open it right down the block from my hood, from my block, and I get everybody to support me, and it worked out fine until the neighborhood started changing, and they started offering the landlords a lot more money rent for the storefront. So something I was paying $800 a month for, my landlord was like, you know, sorry, Al, these people they want to make a little cafe, a little coffee shop cafe here, and they want to give me $4,000 a month. So I couldn't compete with that, you know. So I had to leave that area at that time, and that's happening all over now. I really feel Crown Heights is changed so much now since I've been there. After I got bumped out of Park Slope, so I went a few blocks up, went to Crown Heights, and now the same thing's happening there. I'm pretty sure when my lease is up in that spot, they're going to try to quadruple the rent. And I'll drive by there one day and see a little Starbucks or something instead of the local bodega. You feel me?
I feel you, man. Hey, I'm going to go back on you a little bit, man, because, you know, I did a little research, man. I want you to talk about, we going all the way back to kindergarten with this move here, man. Talk about the drawing, the kindergarten that blew your teacher away, man.
Oh, you talking about the horse?
The horse.
The horse, man. Yeah, man. That was in kindergarten, man. It's weird that I remember that. I don't know where you got that information from. But, yeah, her name was Miss Sua, and she was an art teacher. She came into class and was, you know, drawing stuff for us. You would tell her what you wanted to draw, and she would draw it for you. And I was like, I could draw my own stuff. She was like, yeah, draw me a horse, and I drew a horse, and, you know, she was like, wow, like, you know, she was amazed. She was like, make him with his tongue coming out. I drew his tongue coming out, and that was it, man. She was just amazed, and when she told me how good I could draw, it just, like, inspired me to want to draw more, and, like, I would draw pictures, and people would like them so much, hang them in their offices, and I was like, man, I must be good at this because everybody really likes them, and they're hanging them up, so I kept drawing and drawing and drawing, but that's a real long old story. Now, I think I said that in the interview before, so you must have read some bios there. Online,
yeah, you know I got to do it. You know I got to do my little research, man. You know that. Talk about the graffiti art during the 80s, man.
Well, graffiti was big when I was young in the 80s, and I got into it late in the game. I was a little younger than like the pioneers of graffiti. Like I was looking up to those guys. So those guys was a little older than I was, so we wasn't really in the same generation. So I caught it after, a couple of years after it really started. So by that time, it was a lot more difficult, and nobody was doing it as much as like the Lee and Dondi and Scene and Revolt and Lady Pink and all those kind of people who were like the pioneers of doing the subways. We just was following what they was doing. But, I ran around in the subways and, steal my spray cans, get chased by the cops and all that. Last time I ever went in the trains, I got chased by the cops, and I ran into like a brick wall and had a big knot on my head. And I was like, man, I ain't never going back down there again. But from that happening, I started airbrushing at that time, and airbrushing was a lot safer, man. You just do it on T-shirts, and people would pay you money for them. So my cousin and me, actually, he just left my house. Shout out to Pete from the airbrush factory. Me and him started airbrushing, and I remember what he named the crew. Everything back then was a crew. It was called GUA. GUA was the name of the crew, and it stood for graffiti up above. So instead of us doing graffiti down in the subway tunnels, we were doing graffiti above on the streets, like on T-shirts and all that. So back then, graffiti was like a thing where you like to see your artwork, moving, and you want everybody to see it. So like when you do something on a subway train, that thing is traveling all throughout the city, and people are going to see it. But instead of you doing it like on a wall where the only people that's going to see it are people walking by, it was something about your artwork moving around that was fascinating for us. And that brings me all the way to even now, like tattooing. Tattooing is like the ultimate moving around art. People are traveling, going to different countries, millions of different people go and see, your artwork, your tattoo on that person throughout that person's life. So that was ultimate for me, because the trains, they started cleaning them things off, so your artwork wasn't lasting but so long. But on people, it's permanent, and it lasts their lifetime.
Talking about with the airbrushing on the T-shirts, you actually you were part of the airbrushing on the T-shirts for the film Beat Street, correct?
Wow, that was pretty good here, man. Shout out to that. Anyway, yeah. When me and my cousin used to do the graffiti T-shirts, we used to like wear them in the clubs all the time. And a lady approached my cousin. Her name was Abby. It was a white lady, a blonde-headed white lady. And she worked for the club called at that time it was called the Roxy. In the daytime it was a roller skating rink, and at nighttime it turned into a nightclub. It was on 18th Street and 10th Avenue. Years later, that club became another club called 1018, which stood for 18th Street and 10th Avenue in Manhattan. But when it was the Roxy, she worked there, and she gave us a job. She was like, she wanted us to be in this little booth in the club, like airbrushing graffiti T-shirts, because that was the graffiti era, and Beach G was coming out. So he would take me with him, and I was like 14 years old then, going to the Roxy, airbrushing shirts in this little booth called Street Art. And we would have our canvases and stuff hanging up around the club. We used to paint like neon paint on the shirts on the club. It would be glowing. It was all graffiti, like, characters and names and wild style, and throwback, throw-ups. But they started filming the movie Beat Street at that time, so we was able to be a part of that. We was able to see them filming it. We was able to go to the premiere, and we knew all those cats that used to break dance in the Roxy, because we used to sit in there and watch the battles, all the time with the New York City Breakers battling, Rocksteady crew, shout out to Crazy Legs, Normski, all them dudes from back in those days. That was a great era, man. That was great to be part of that whole, the birth of that whole graffiti and b-boying and breakdancing and battling. It was just all about the crews battling, the DJs battling. It was back in the dance track stage, man. Carlos Day has hosting dance tracks, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's my history with Beat Street, because I was actually working doing graffiti t-shirts in the club at that time.
Wow. Let me ask you, is the graffiti movement still pretty large in the New York area right now?
You know what, man? Truthfully, I fell out the loop with graffiti years ago, man. I never really pursued it or stayed with it. But a lot of the guys from my era was like, they do a lot of overseas stuff, man. Cause they adapted that, that art over there, and they love graffiti over there. It's great artists over there. And they still do that. Like, they even still do b-boy battling overseas. I mean, it never stopped over there. So a lot of the graffiti dudes from my era and stuff, if they ain't dead or in jail, they're overseas getting that overseas money. But, yeah, I never, I really didn't stay in the loop with it, so I really can't speak that much about it, just from what I see on the internet and hear from friends and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you, Al, once going back into the 80s, you're still staying in the 80s. Well, what happened once crack hit the scene?
A lot of fine-ass girls started tricking. It just tore families apart, man. It just changed, man. It changed the neighborhood. As if things wasn't already worse in the hood, it just made things even worse. To see people that you respected and looked up to, friends of yours, uncles and older guys on the block who were tough and used to be whooping ass back in the days with their hands, and stick up kids and, big brolic dudes. It just tore all that down. It just, made a beautiful girl on the block who never gave a second look to you, made her a prostitute now. It made, people, your friends, mothers, you seen go down the tubes, and it was disappointing for me, man, because I came from a generation where I was caught in the middle of that, where I was actually in that crack era. A lot of my friends who I went to school with and grew up got caught up in that, but it was disappointing for me because I grew up as a youngster with all my older siblings and, older people than me. They were all on the heroin. So I went through the heroin era. I seen that destroy people and, families. And then that kind of died away. And, AIDS made that die away because a lot of those people that I knew used to use heroin and shoot it up back in the day, they all died, They started dropping in the 80s, in the late 80s. And then, you figure, wow, that was disastrous. This heroin had just killed so many people because they were sharing needles and stuff like that. Now this AIDS is out. And then here comes crack. Everybody who wasn't hooked on heroin, all of a sudden, now they hooked on crack. And it just cleaned out the hood, man. It just tore shit up. And it's still out there like that. It never ends, but it's not as bad as it was in the 80s. In the 80s,
during that, I was going to ask, during that time, did a lot of friends get caught up in the fast money during that time?
Yeah, there was a lot of money around in the 80s because everybody was getting high. Everybody was getting money. But it was like back in those days, man, who was getting money and who wasn't. There wasn't too many people riding around with a Benz back in those days. Nowadays, just need good credit to look like a drug dealer. Nowadays, everybody look like a drug dealer. You know what I mean? Back in the days, it was like we was taking the train, and if you had a nice car, you was one of the big boys, and there wasn't many of them. know. Now it's like 14, 15-year-olds riding around in nice whips. Or people just, you know, good credit, you get a nice car, and that's it, you starting.
Now, how did you get started with tattooing?
Prison, man, actually. You know, when I was doing graffiti and always drawing and airbrushing, I was like, man, I would love to learn how to tattoo. I always told myself, man, I'll be a badass tattoo artist. Especially because it was just like tracing, you know. Back in the days, it was like you walk in a tattoo shop and whatever was on the wall is what you got. You pick something. As soon as you pick it, the guy pulls out the other sheet he has behind the counter, the line drawing, trace, put it through the machine, make the stencil, throw it on you, and you out of there. You probably bump into 100 people the same year with the same tattoo that you had. You know what I mean? Everybody's getting the same shit.
I'm laughing because I went through that. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. My first tattoo, I still remember it, man. I got it out of Tattoo Charlie's in Baltimore. I think that was just the second oldest shop in America. And got the Black Panther tattoo on my arm. I think everybody back then.
That's the famous, the one crawling up the arm.
I got the one, just the head only, just the Black Panther head
right,
only.
Okay, but those are all on the same piece of paper. They had like the head, they had the one crawling up, the one crawling down, and then one like laying in the grass. Yeah, man, those are classics, man. Like how about the tribal ones? You know that tribal flash sheet that was always on the walls. Everybody always had that. It was like. Especially for people of color, back in the days, people of color, you walk in a tattoo shop, there probably was 3 sheets on the wall that would fit us. The rest of that shit was like rock and roll, white boy, you know, white people stuff. Like, we ain't getting that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Confederate flags and skulls. Like, we wasn't, you know, back in the day, people of color, we wasn't putting those skulls on us. Like, that was some evil, you know, voodoo, rock and roll type. Like, what would we be in the hood wearing a skull, like, on us? Like, hell no. Only thing in the tattoo shops on the wall for us would have been the Panther sheets, you know, the Grim Reaper, or like, you know, they had roses, but there wasn't really much for us to choose from. If you really look back at those sheets, it was all like sailor shit and marine shit and like shit we would never get. So that's why we was always like, well, what the hell do we get? Let me just get my name. You know, that's the famous first hood tattoo, your name on you. You know, everybody put their name on it. We didn't know what else to put. You know what I mean? I be covering up people coming into me. I just covered up like a Fred Flintstone on a dude. Like this dude got this shit. He got this shit like 15, 20 years ago. Fred Flintstone. Like he's like, yo, could you cover this up, man? Or that little red devil. Remember the little red devil?
No.
little red devil tattoo. You know?
Oh.
The Harley Davidson. That's my first tattoo. Was a Harley Davidson eagle. I was like, what is it? Eagle? It looks nice. Harley Davidson.
Oh man. You know? So as you were saying, you said you had learned to tattoo in a prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh right. So you know.
How long?
What you had asked me was where I learned how to tattoo at, and I was like, right? Was that the question?
Yes.
And then that's where I got off track there. So yeah, actually, I learned how to tattoo when I went to prison, and when I finally got in, when I got to prison, I started seeing dudes tattooing, and then I was like, man, this is a better time than any for me to learn this trade, because in the streets nobody was trying to teach me in the streets, you know, a young kid from the hood, and so there was no way to learn, and you didn't even know where to buy anything, you know, it was just unheard of for us to even be working in a tattoo shop. That was like the white boy thing, and that was the thing, they had it locked down. they wasn't teaching us. So when I went to prison, I started seeing them doing really nice tattoos, and I was like, holy shit, like, I'm out west in Mexico, they tattooing, and I'm like, man. So I just started hanging around them, and I started, I was always drawing in there, so one of the Mexican dudes, he was like, start drawing tattoos for his clients, and then he tattooed them. So I was making money drawing the tattoo, and he would tattoo them. And I just watched him for years, and then actually the first tattoo I did was in prison, and it was on him before he went home. He was like, I want you to tattoo this on me. I was like, I don't tattoo, man. He was like, man, you've been watching me for so long, you could do this. And I did the tattoo, and that was it. He went home, and I stayed, I stayed with all his clients and, everything, his machines and all that stuff. So shout out to him.
Man, how nervous was you to do your first tattoo in prison, man?
I wasn't nervous, man. I wasn't nervous at all, man. It was my boy. He was leaving. He's the one that taught me everything I knew, and I was confident. I was like, man, give me that. And I think the first tattoo was better than the next 10 or 20 ones after that. It's for some reason. Everything was perfect. The machine was running right. The skin was right. All those factors come into play to do a good tattoo. You could just run into somebody, their skin is like leather. Their skin is like rhinoceros, skin. And it's just not going to look as smooth. It's not going to be that easy for you to tattoo, and you're going to run into problems, and it just doesn't saturate right, the color and the shading. It's just, everybody's different. Sometimes you get a client and you're like, man, this person don't move. His skin is his or her skin is awesome. It sucks the ink right in. I just pass the machine on it, and it just looks like it's just perfect. The lighting is right, the design is right, and everything goes right 100%, and that tattoo looks amazing. And that don't happen every day. That won't happen on the same person. So that's what happened with my first tattoo. I got lucky. It's good skin. Machine was running right. Lighting was right. My mind was right. And it came out awesome. And then like the second one, I had the luck was it just didn't look as good. And then I was struggling to find that same high, that you get the first time, but you just can't get that again.
Let me ask you, before you got released from prison, did you know what you wanted to do with yourself at the time? Right 100%. Before you got released?
100%. 3 years before I got released, I said I'm going to open up a tattoo barber shop. Perception becomes reality, man. Rules of attraction. I thought it, I felt it, I envisioned it day in and day out. I drew pictures of it. I gave it a name. I said I'm going to open it in my neighborhood. This was going to be called blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go out. This is my business plan. I'm going to make it happen. I can feel myself in that shop already. You know what I'm saying? I could see the people walking the door. I could see the decor. I see what it looks like. I see what it smells like in there. And I come home, and 2 months later, I have my own shop.
Wait, that's because, like you said, once you got home, did you have to do like an apprenticeship or anything to get your own shop?
Man, that was 16 years ago. 16 years ago, and there was no shops to get an apprenticeship. To be an apprentice, it was only white-owned shops in New York City at that time, and they'll look at you like you're crazy. First of all, forget about being an apprentice, because at that time, I didn't even know what that word meant. So, for me to say, they wasn't giving me apprentice, I didn't know anything about the tattoo world. That was a secret thing. They knew about it. You would walk in there. They're not giving you no information. You could go in there and say, how do I learn how to, how do you learn how to be a tattoo artist? They just look at you like you're crazy. You always knew it was kind of like a little friendship. It was a little clique. You wouldn't even dare go in there and ask them to teach you, because you knew they didn't like you really anyway. So, I can't, but I didn't even know what the word meant at that time as an apprentice. I didn't even know that was how you learn you have to be an apprentice. I know none of that. All I knew was they really didn't want to fuck with me. They just wanted to take your money if you want a tattoo, but that's about it. They'll look at you like you're crazy if you ask for a job there. So,
was that frustrating for you?
Of course, but especially because I knew the trade, but I didn't know how to use any machines that they sold in the real world, like the real machines. I learned a little prison homemade stuff. So I had reached out to another artist that I knew in prison, and he got out earlier than me, and he was like, you come home, come see me. I'm going to have a shop by then, and I'm going to give you the basic, 101 on how the street shit works. And shout out to him, Jamie. He had a shop in Queens. I went to see him like every day for like 2 weeks, and he showed me this, showed me that. I'm a fast runner. You show me something one time, and you ain't got to show me again. And he showed me the tattooing 101, and I took that and ran with it, and that was it. That's my apprenticeship, and I didn't even know that's what you call it. I just thought it was my homeboy helping me out. To be honest with you. You know what I mean? My homeboy was looking out for me.
Now,
but,
back during that time, once you had got started with the tattooing, you took some time off because you had started a clothing line, right? The Airwear NYC.
Yeah, exactly. It was weird. It was weird. I used to airbrush, before prison, like I told you back in the days, and I still had like all my airbrushes and all that. And when I came home and I opened up the barber shop, the tattoo shop, I had airbrushed something on the wall in the shop. I had airbrushed a big print on the wall in the shop, and somebody seen it. And then Source Magazine called me and wanted me to do some like backdrops for Source Magazine, and I did that. And then there was a clothing store called Uncle Ralph's Urban Gear. Shout out to Uncle Ralph from Video Music Box. He was next door to me, and they sell, FUBU and all that. Sean John wasn't even out there. It was FUBU back then, and Carl Kanai, Pele, and they sell black tees and white tees. And one day, I was like, yo, let me get one of them black tees, man, and I brought it home, and I airbrushed, like, some white paint, and I airbrushed Biggie's face, and long story longer, I started making the shirts. They started selling them in the window. We were selling them for, like, $75 because they was handmade. Mr. C seen it. Mr. C came and got one. He ordered a magazine, and then this person called me, that person called me. One thing led to another, and I started a clothing line called Airwear, and it actually did so well that I had to move into a warehouse. I had to get full staff. I traveled all over to Vegas. I was in Barcelona, Spain with the clothing line. I had to actually leave tattooing at that time because I was making so much money with the clothing line, and tattooing couldn't compete with it. So I had like a 4-year run with the clothing line before it just burnt out, went out of style like anything else. And then I actually went back to tattooing after that, because then I started seeing more people getting into the tattoos. There was more money into that game, and it just everything happened at the right time.
What happened once you got back on the scene tattooing back in 2008? I guess when the tattooing really took off in NYC, the mainstream.
Yeah, when I started seeing like a lot of some basketball players with them, the hip hop artists started getting into it. I was like, man, this is gonna come back and it's gonna hit hard. So the clothing line ain't doing too good no more. And actually it was just funny because my old landlord called me, and he was like, yo, I got another spot next door the way you used to be open, and he was like, come back over here, it's mad, the neighborhood, they miss you. And I said, you know what, let me come down. And I saw the spot, and I was like, I'm going to do a little, like, clothing boutique / tattooing. So I always have my clothes and my tattooing going on at the same time. And I went back, and now I've been back there 8 years. Been back on the block. It's funny because from that 4-year, gap, I tattooed people back then, and I come back 4 years later. Some people walk in like, yo, where you been, man? Like, you did my first tattoo. You did my first tat, man. Look, remember this? I'm like, oh, shit, that shit look all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, shit, I remember that shit because you know if you did something. And especially back then, there was no computers, none of that stuff. You had to do a tattoo. Somebody wanted a name, you just drew it on them, and you just tatted them. You know what I mean? And now I'm looking at him, and he's like, look at me now. He's all tatted, chest, arms, back. I'm like, damn, my Lord's bad bread on you. I would have been the one doing all that if I didn't leave for them 4 years. You know what I mean? And other people came in and like, yo, you better than me. You did my first tat. I was like 14. I'm like, oh, damn. There was no rules. There was no rules back then. Come and run tat, sit down in the chair.
Oh, I knew it was something. Talk about in your shop, because when you talked about it earlier about how people used to pick out stuff on the wall, like I was one of them, used to pick out stuff on the wall. Talk about in your shop, there is no pictures on the wall. You got to come up with a concept, because you don't do that.
Yeah, I hate flash, man. I mean, I just hate having flash on the walls in the shop looking like a production shop, a commercial shop, like those shops in the village, in Manhattan, those owned by little Arabs or Indian dudes. They hire any tattooist they find. Most of them, they coming in and it's just like, come on, pick what you want on the wall, get the tattoo, boom. You can't. They don't even give them guys a chance to be creative over there. There's a difference between a tattoo artist and a tattooist. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be a tattooist. I could teach you to be a tattooist. So a tattooist traces whatever's on the body. He puts a stencil on and he traces it. And anybody could learn to trace the lines. You know what I mean? Now, for you to be a tattoo artist is someone, you come in the shop and you're like, yo, I want a tattoo of this angel leaning over a tombstone, holding a sword. And I'm like, all right, give me some money, leave a deposit, I'm going to draw that up. And then you come back, you look at it, you want to tweak it or whatever, we can change it, and then we put it on you, and that's it. So that's the difference right there. That's why I don't got nothing on the wall, because for what? When I left tattooing the first time, it was because I was like falling out of love with it. It was boring to me. It was like all I'm doing is tracing something on the wall. It's not creative. It's not challenging for me. So that's why I got out of it. It was so easy for me to leave it at that time and go into the clothing line. So I was like, this shit is boring anyway. Then 4 years later, people started like, they started getting more creative. They want sleeves, they want back pieces, chest pieces. Back then, it was all the same crap. Give me a name, even in the beginning, people of color, we still have problems choosing what to put on our body. I feel like crying every time somebody walks in my shop. So I want some stars and some clouds and music notes. Like, is that all, is that all we choose for tattoos? Like, other cultures are so cultural with their tattoos. Like, Polynesian people and Hawaiians, they got their shit, the Irish people get the Celtic, and, everybody got, like, the bikers got their shit. Like, anybody got their shit, and they put their culture on them, and then us, we like, give me the fucking panther. Give me the star. I'll take the butterfly. Like, what the fuck? Like, we have trouble. Now you see like some tattoos, like Maya Bailey, shout out to him, City of Ink in Atlanta. Like, he has that like Afro-inspired art, you know what I'm saying? Like Nefertiti kind of, but with an Afro, like he has his own, African, like American kind of style, which is cool, you know what I'm saying? But, everybody else put their culture on. Mexicans, they got their Mexican shit, you got black people now coming in there, let me get a day to day. Like, That's a Mexican holiday, you know. We just
Damn.
we don't know what to put on us because we don't have no culture of stuff to put on us. You feel what I'm saying?
That's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, you know, everybody else got their own shit for us. So we like, what the fuck do we get? We don't know what to get. We start dealing with other people's culture stuff on us. You look at me, my whole chest is Polynesian. Like, I got a day of the dead on me. We don't know what the hell to put on us. You know what I mean?
Dang.
And,
hey, what's the average cost of a back tattoo?
Man,
a whole back.
That's one of the craziest questions that you're talking about right now. That's like somebody walking in the shop and be like, oh, yo, how much are tattoos? How much are tattoos? How much is a tattoo?
Because it all depends on the detail.
A back piece could be something. Everything with tattoos in my world is about time. You pay me for my time.
Okay, time. Yeah, I wanted people to know that. Yeah, it's about time.
Right.
I wanted people to hear that.
Right. It's not about the drawing. It's not about, yo, how much for a back piece? I could do a back piece that could take 100 hours on you, or I could do a back piece that could take 20 hours on you. You know, if you're on the phone, you'd be like, yo, how much is a back piece, Al? I'll be like, yo, a stack. And then you come into my shop and you got the picture of what you want on your back, and it's going to take me 5 months to do it. Now you can be like, yo, you told me a stack, Al. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't know, you was looking like that. So it's all about the time, how long it's going to take, how long that tattoo is going to take. That is what differentiates the price of the tattoo.
Okay, yeah, you know, I just wanted people to know that.
You know, yeah, people in the hood, everybody got the concept, like, they got a picture of a tattoo they want. You know, they go in a tattoo shop. Yo, how much is this tattoo? You look at it, you're like, $200. All right, thank you. They go to another tattoo shop. Yo, how much you doing this tattoo for? I do it for about $50. Then they go to Pablo on the 5th floor. And yo, Pablo, what's up, son? How much you gonna do this for me? You be like, yo, you give me 2 bags a week. And you be like, all right, because they have the concept that as a tattoo artist, you're gonna do that picture the same. So let me shop around, you know, and get the cheapest deals because they all going to do this tattoo the same, which is wrong. Every tattoo artist is going to do that tattoo different depending on his level of, skills. But they cheapen out on their body, but they walking in with a Louis Vuitton bag, females, or you maybe got the Jordans on, and you want to get a $20 tattoo. Cheapen out on something that's going to be on it permanently, but be rocking the flyest, most expensive gear.
Hey, let me ask you, Al, who surprised you when you got that call that they wanted to get tatted?
Which call?
Like a call
me up?
Yeah, they say, hey, yo, Al, I want to get a tat, and they surprised you like, damn, they want to get a tat from me.
Oh man. Let me think, man. I don't know, man. It's tough. Tattoo so many. I don't know, man. Surprised me. I really can't say, man. It's always been me. It's been like word of mouth, and one tattoo brings another. That's my rule. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I want to do your tattoo. Good, so good that I know one person is going to see it, and they're going to be like, I'm going to him. So if I keep doing that, it builds me up a momentum of people. If I do 1,000 tats, lowballing it, it should bring me another 1,000 people. That's lowballing it, because usually one tat is going to be more than one. This way, now, the longer I be tatting, the more people, the more my momentum of people keeps rolling, and I never, ever run out of clients. You feel me?
Yeah.
But people like Mano, different celebrities and stuff, like an artist, one of these artists that I used to really like his work and all that. I met him, and he'd be like, yo, I want to get something from you, and I'm like, that's cool, you know what I mean? Yo, I like your style, you know what I mean? Mano, that was crazy how that happened. Because me and Mano's story is very alike. We're very good friends now. We became friends, for me chatting him. And it's like, he went to prison. He wasn't a rapper. I went to prison. I wasn't a tattoo artist. Come home, something you never thought. I got a, TV show, blah, blah, blah. He's a hip-hop artist. It's like, our lives kind of like mirror each other, and we always talk about that. But I always used to listen to his music, and I was like, when he came home and he made that album, and the whole album was him talking about coming home, being in jail, learning this and that, what he's going through with his life, with his family, and, they got to suffer for him to follow his dreams, buying things, trying to make up for time in my son's life, buying things my son likes, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, baby mama stuff, like all that stuff is a lot, like, happening to me. So, like, I always used to say, yo, man, I want to chat that dude, and I was like, because I want to holler at him, because I listened to that album, and, like, if I sit down with him and I tell him about my life, he's going to be like, damn, and I tell him about, the songs and what they meant to me, how they affected me in my life, he gonna know I'm real. And we both from Brooklyn, we grew up in the same neighborhood, like real close, neighborhoods. And lo and behold, I got a call one day and they were like, yo, man, I want you to get tatted for you, blah, blah. And we hooked up and we was kicking it forever, man. We became good friends ever since then. And as his life keeps going on now, after he's been from out of prison, made that album already, I've been through my things, and we just still rolling, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy how some things you do have to sacrifice in order to follow your dreams. It's one or the other, you know what I mean? But, if you got that drive and you a dream chaser, it ain't never going to end. You know what I mean? But, yeah, maybe he got to be the number one on my list, because that was, like, real crazy for me, to be able to chat him after listening to his music and thinking that when I meet this dude, we're going to click, man. He gonna know, that what I'm saying is real. He gonna look at me like, damn, man, you going through the same shit I'm going through, but in a different art form. You know what I'm saying? And it happened just like I thought it would. We be laughing, we be joking on each other, and it's just it is what it is. But yeah, that was a good call for me. That was like somebody like saying, "Word, they want me to chat them, get me on the show, whatever, blah blah blah." That's hot, you know what I mean? And it was just crazy, man. So like that's gotta be one of the hottest ones. Cause me and him, we really kick it now, and like we built a good relationship, friendship with each other.
Okay. Let me ask you, because you had brung it up. You were on the first season of Ink Masters, correct?
Yes.
How did that all come about? And number two, how did you feel how they betrayed you on the show?
Betrayed? How they portrayed me, or betrayed?
Portrayed me, yeah, portrayed you. I'm sorry, portrayed. You're right.
They did. They betrayed me too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you hit it right on the button, man. But anyway, listen. I started the Urban Tattoo Convention because I felt we needed a place, a convention of our own that would not turn us away, would rent us booths, and we can get all these little tattoo artists that tattoo in little spots in the hood who are really good. We could bring them out, and other artists could see them, and we could all meet each other. We got a place that we all got love for each other, and we're like, yeah, this urban tattoo thing is really growing up. So I started that, and Fight TV was coming up with a show, and they were like, yo, we're doing a TV show with these, with artists competing against each other, but they can't have an all white cast, so they're like, well, we need some black tattoo artists or Latinos, but where the fuck do we find them? Because we ain't out there, we ain't in convention. You know what I'm saying? We in our little spots, in the hood or whatever, and people don't even know about us because we don't do conventions. We ain't out there like that. Only people that fuck with us know about us. So they heard about the Urban Tattoo Convention, and they hit me up, and they like, hi, how you doing? You know, we hear you're the CEO of the Urban Tattoo Convention. I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, you know, we're casting for a TV show, and we're looking for urban artists. I'm thinking, first, I'm thinking, wow, it's going to be a show only about urban artists. And it's just like, when they figure, let's call this dude up. He got the whole list of every urban tattoo artist because he done had conventions, and he knows all of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's them talking to me, not knowing that I'm a tattoo artist myself. You feel me? They're just thinking I'm a dude who promotes this show. And then when they found out who I was, they're like, oh, you an artist too? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, and you the one? You're like, you the mouthpiece for this urban tattoo convention? You this little revolutionary nigga from Brooklyn? They're like, what? and they were like, oh yeah, let's pick him. You know what I'm saying? Let's pick this dude who has the urban tattoo convention already looking up to him. Let's make a fool of him out on TV. Let's put him out on blast. They wasn't really putting much thought into looking for an urban tattoo artist. They just needed one so the whole cast won't be all white. In their minds, the producers and stuff will probably be like, you know what? We just, let's grab one, whoever you can find, throw him up in there, and he'll be on the first. We'll write him off the first episode, and then we keep it moving, and everybody's happy. Because they put a lot of time and effort into the other cast members. They got dudes who are already world renowned. Dudes who was, winning awards. And then you go and get, the Latino and the black dude who you don't even take a second look to really see if he's a really great tattoo artist or not. Or why would you be putting him against dudes like Shane O'Neill or Billy Vegas? B-Tat, the kid from Jersey, he wasn't even tattooing in the shop. He was tattooing out his house. So you mean to tell me you couldn't, your casting company couldn't really go out there and find an artist of color who was really good? What about Zulu? Everybody knows who Zulu is. Zulu's been around for years. You know what I'm saying? They just was like, man, whatever. Get them, put them on the cast, we'll get rid of them quick, and we'll keep it moving with all the rest of these dudes who are really badass motherfuckers. And they just didn't understand what they were getting into when they fucking put me on the show, because I already knew what the deal was. The minute I walked through the door, I smelled the rat. And I was like, oh, yeah? Y'all got that plan for me? I got something for y'all asses. I'm going to steal every episode that I'm on this show. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 episodes. Everybody going to remember me. Even if I don't win, I'm going to win. and that's exactly what I did. They had to get me off of there because they were like, this is just turning into the Fliction show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm the face of Ink Master. I'm the face.
That's what I was going to ask you.
You know what I'm saying? Anywhere I go, I'm in conventions. I could be standing next to the guy who won or other people from my episode. People run up to me to take pictures. They don't even recognize who's standing next to me. I'm like, yo, do you know that he was on the show with me too? They're like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll just take a picture, You know what I'm saying? So, to me, I won. I won that season. And still, after 4 seasons later, ain't nobody stands out and is the face of Ink Master like when people see me. So I'm still winning. I won 4 episodes of it. They keep trying to cast members like me or cast somebody that got the swag like me. They have all these outfits and remixes, but it's all good. They ain't never gonna get this. Cause I never even watched reality shows before I went on that show. So I was raw. I was myself. You feel me?
Yeah.
Some other people, you start watching them shows and all that, then you get on the show, you try to mimic what you've seen already and how reality TV works. I didn't even watch TV, so I didn't even know what that shit was about. I was just being myself. You feel me?
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Hey, talk more about the Urban Tattoo Convention.
We had our 5th year this year. It's May 27th, 28th, and 29th. It's in Brooklyn. This is our 5th year doing it. They said it couldn't be done, and it got done. We started out at Club Amnesia. Urban Ink Magazine, my #1 sponsor. They've been down with me since day one. It's called the UTC for short. but it's the Urban Tattoo Convention. We got people flying in from all over now, from Italy, from London, you know, all these artists of color that never really had a place where they felt comfortable. Now they know they could come here and we open them with welcome arms. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's grown so much. The talent is phenomenal. I mean, I go to conventions around the world, around the country, and I bump into artists who their first convention was my convention. They say, yo, Al, what's up? I'm like, what up, man? They're like, yo, man, ever since we went to yours, man, we ain't stopped. We go to all conventions all the time now, all over. I'm like, that's what's up. That's why I started it, to get them out there so they could feel what it's like to tattoo and compete against other artists and win trophies. And then now they're getting on the road. Now everybody's getting nervous. You know, now, you know, you got artists of color winning trophies and stuff in tattoo conventions in Texas and, you know, in Oklahoma. And they're like, damn, these motherfuckers are coming out of everywhere. Yeah, because I'm giving them the portal and opening the door for them for that. And that's why I started the whole thing. You know what I mean? To get us out there, to get people to understand that we are good tattoo artists, that we have talent, you know what I mean? And nobody's liking that, but they ain't gonna stop us. You know, in a few more years, the urban tattoo is gonna be so big, man. These, you know, you got the great tattoo artists that they show in these magazines now. I'm telling you, man, it's just a matter of time before you start seeing people of color in Ink magazine and all that who are world-renowned, just amazing tattoo artists, and there's nothing nobody could do to stop that from happening, because we know the game now. We teaching each other. We ain't holding it back from each other. Now all these artists are coming out the woodwork, and I'm giving them the platform and the stage to come out to, you know, and feel love, and it's for everybody to see them. And now with the social media networks and everything, we're just unstoppable, man. We're unstoppable. And when I walk to these conventions and people look at me, they look at me like, that's that motherfucker that's fucking started all this bullshit. That's why we didn't win an award today, because that black dude done won it. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Oh, let me ask you, because for those that don't know, you're a supporter of the American Bullies.
Yes.
If you've been to American Bully shows, do you see yourself one day combining the two, like with a tattoo convention and a dog show?
I thought of that, man, but it's so crazy with the health department to be tattooing and have animals in the same place. But one day, if I get like a venue where it's separate, you know, but combined, and we can separate the two and have both of them there, I think it would be a good look. Definitely good look. You know, like, yo, dog shows is my downtime. Like, that's me away from this tattoo world. You know what I mean? That's my family time, my kids, you know, my girl. We go out there. We love the dogs. I love my dogs. They're family members to me. So it's a good weekend. It's a good getaway for us to all get together. You know, the barbecue's going on. The dogs are with us. We're spending time with the dogs, with ourselves. You know, running them in the ring, trying to win trophies. You know, that's what I'm in it for. That's like a good family downtime for me. I like to teach my kids to love animals, and you know, it's just like a family thing. And it's hard for me to like combine it with the tattooing, because when I'm there, I don't even like to think about tattooing or really even talk about tattooing. I'm into the dogs, and that's what it's about that day. You know what I mean? But one day, you know, if I can combine something like that, I would love to. You know what I mean? But yeah, the dogs, you know, that's my downtime, man. That's what keeps me level. That's what keeps me balanced. You know what I mean?
How did you get involved with the Bullies?
Well, you know, I always had dogs, man, since I was a kid. I lived in Miami. I had pets, you know, back in the days. Came home, and I started seeing, you know, the Bullies, and I was like, man, I like that, you know, I like that stock. I used to see the Snoop Dogg videos and the Dog Whisperer with that dog he had. What was his name? Daddy. And
Daddy. Oh yeah.
Daddy. Rest in peace of Daddy. Matter of fact, I heard that dog passed away like about a year ago. But I don't like the skinny pits, the watered down New York pits. You know, they done mixed them with Beagles throughout the years, and Jack Russell Terriers. They just wasn't like they wasn't back in the days no more. You know, so I was like, man, I want to get like real looking Jordan, real blood pit one day, and I talked to my another tattoo artist at a convention. Shout out to Daniel Frank and Beyond Reality Tattoo Shop in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He put me on at a convention. He was like, yo, my boy breeds dogs. He showed me some pictures. Long story longer, I went down there and picked up a pup from him. He gave me a pick of the litter on the mail, and that's how I got my dog Gully, and he's like one of the best dogs I've ever had in my life. He's more human than anything. And we got the brother and the sister. My brother kept the sister. I kept Gully. And we actually bred the sister recently, and we got pups from her now. We kept about 3 of them. Now I'm thinking about bringing Gully back into with the nieces to get, bring that Gully line back, because we love how he is. So we just want to duplicate him, try to clone him, and all the family got them. So it's like we go out to the dog shows now. Like the last show we went to, the RKC show. Shout out to Bully Girl Magazine and Spielberg and them. We went out there like the first time we went in the RV, and we became like 6 dogs, Gully and like 5 of his nieces and nephews, and it was just like wow, I remember just coming there with Gully, and now my son got his dog, my cousin got one, we all bring them to the house on the weekends. They run around the yard together, and it's a good thing. It's like growing. Like all of a sudden, I started this little family of Bully Gully line people, and now it's growing. We got the T-shirts going on. We thinking we're real cattle, and all we got is 5 dogs. You know what I mean? But it's growing. So who knows what happens when Gully mates with these nieces when we produce something. That's probably another 9-10 months from now. But we're looking forward to that. And everybody's waiting for puppies of Gully. So it's a good thing, man. I love the dogs, man. So. I love the fact that I take time to go out with them and spend that time with them. You know what I mean?
Does he get to hang out at the shop with you?
Gully's been coming to the shop with me since I first got him. He never stayed home. He's never stayed home a day in his life. All he knows is the tattoo shop, jump in the back of the Benz, and we on our way home. Yeah. I think that's why he's so human. I think a real disciplined dog, and it makes sense, it's the time you put into that dog. Working a 9 to 5, having a dog sitting in the crate all day, coming home, walking them 5-10 minutes outside, back upstairs, you going to sleep, there's no time. That dog, he's not educated. Just being around you without you even teaching them, just talking to them like a regular person, they pick that up, man, and they learn on their own, and they become just like it's just like having a little kid. And it shows because the dog's been with me day in and day out, and he responds to things I say, to facial expressions, and he's not a dog who's running around ripping shit up in the house or nothing. He just listens to everything I tell him, and everybody is amazed by that. And like, oh, how'd you do that? I want one of his puppies. Just because you get one of his puppies doesn't mean he's going to be that way when you leave him in the crate. Like a trophy all day. You got to put in that work, put in that time. You know what I mean? And thank God I'm in a position where I own my own business where I can bring my dog to work. And if you're scared of dogs, you don't want to get a tattoo because he's there, then I'm not tattooing you. You know what I mean? Gully don't bother nobody. He just chills. He sits around. Some people are scared of dogs, and unfortunately, I'm not leaving Gully home to tattoo you. So if you don't like dogs, and you're scared of dogs, you're never going to get tattooed from me.
Oh, dang. That's serious. You serious?
Yeah.
Man.
Same thing goes for the house. Same thing in the crib. You come to my crib, hey, if you get dog hair on your shirt from sitting on the couch, then don't sit on the couch.
Hey, let me ask you, what's your style of bully? What you like? What you like out there? You've been going to the shows.
You know what? Man, I'm a sucker for all dogs because I tell you, Gully is that standard size, but he's stocky, but he doesn't have the smushed in face. I'm not a fan too much of the pushed in face where they have have the trouble breathing, where they and you get that snort. I just don't like the pushed in face. You know what I'm talking about? I like the more old school pit face, the smooth, the short snout, but like to a point, that pretty boy look. They just look pretty. Gully's very handsome. He has a handsome face. I like that face. I like that old school pig. Like when they panting, when their tongue is out and their jaw drops, they get like some Chinese eyes. That pretty face with the pointy nose, with the short snout. You know what I mean? I like them right there. But then I also like XLs. You know, I also like them, a couple of them little pockets like that with the gully face. You know, so like I wouldn't mind having a variety of all of them. You know, I like classics too. It's just I'm just not a fan of like going too crazy with it. You know what I mean? If I want a bulldog, I'm gonna get a bulldog. You know what I mean?
Okay, I feel you.
It's just like I think it's a thin line right now between how close they go into the bulldog. You know what I mean? It's like some of the pictures I thought it was a bulldog at first, and they're saying it's a bully. I'm like, well, I thought bullies were athletic. You know, could jump up and down, run. You know, could take them out in the summertime without them catching heat strokes. I don't want any dogs who are not athletic. I like going to the parks, letting the dogs run, you know what I mean? Throwing the ball all day long, like type shit, you know what I mean? So that's my style. You know, you gotta be athletic, and I don't have to worry about, you know, the dog, you know, catching a heat stroke on me and you know, breathing right and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's why I never got a bulldog, because they have trouble with that, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Everybody has their own preferences, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of that RV, because you brought that RV, that was to that show in Jersey, but when you originally bought the RV, that was to what's the Tattoo Express, where you take it around. That's something else you do people might not know about.
When I first bought it was like for promotion. When I first bought it years ago, a lot of people used to call us to do tattoo parties. I used to send my artists out to their houses and stuff. And then my artists were like, yo, man, you know, I got to carry my stuff on the train, go to this people's house. They got me in the kitchen. It's just uncomfortable and dirty and all. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, you know, they don't want to do it no more because it's too much of a hassle. And, you know, health-wise and cleanliness. So I was like, damn, we should get like a big bus and just pull up in people's cribs. And they can have the party going on, and when people want to chat, they come in the buses, so it's a sterile environment. We could come to you. The artists are comfortable. You know, they have their right chairs, their right lighting, everything was there for them. So that's what we did it for. But it was more promotion, you know, with the wrap. We had it wrapped with the shop's name on it and stuff like that. So I still had the bus. Now we're getting it rewrapped. I just use it for touring, actually. I don't tattoo inside the bus no more. So now I'm going on a...
Oh, okay.
Now I'm going on a tour, a Florida tour in July and August. I'll be all over Florida in the bus, but it's just for me to be transporting myself to different spots because I'll be guest spotting at different tattoo shops in Florida. A weekend here, a week at this spot, a week in Tampa, you know, Jacksonville, Orlando, Boca, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, you know. So it's just me. It's easy for me to travel because Gully's with me instead of traveling on airplanes with Gully everywhere. Gully stays living on the bus with me, and it's all good. He's on tour, the Fliction and Gully tour this summer in Florida.
What's one of your favorite spots to visit outside of New York?
Outside of New York, I'd say Miami.
Miami?
Yeah, my brother lives down there. My mom lives down there, so I like Miami.
You ain't lying.
And you know what? I like LA too. I like California. I like Miami. I like, you know, overseas is real cool. Always love going out there. You know?
Yeah, I with you with that Miami. I love Miami, but then when I hit Puerto Rico, I was like, dang, I gotta make Puerto Rico my second home. I love Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was out there for the whole summer last year.
I know we was out there at the same time. I was trying to make that convention out there, Santa Fe, and I couldn't find a place for nothing, man. That was crazy.
That's right. Oh shit, I remember that. I forgot all about that, man.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
You would have never left. You would have hooked up with me. You would have learned Spanish and everything.
That's what's up, man. I love it down there. I ain't gonna lie, man.
You would have been sending child support payments right about now.
Although wife would kill me.
My bad. Zeb, when's the next show, man? What's going on next? You got to keep me in the loop.
Next show for me will be they're gonna bring your boy up to Massachusetts to the Bully Blowout 2. That's at Franklin County Fairgrounds up in Mass. And they're supposed to have like
what kind of show is that? Who show?
They're gonna have like they're gonna have the weight pulling. They're gonna have the bully show.
What organization?
The IBKC.
IBKC?
IBKC.
I never heard that when I was here.
Yeah, that's international.
Okay. Oh, I think
the IBKC.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, they do the weight pulls and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be nice, man. So I'm headed up that way. So looking forward to that.
When is that?
That's gonna be August the 16th.
Oh, okay. I'll be down in Florida. I gotta catch some
you be in Florida doing it?
I'm a catch some Florida shows when I'm down there. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, how Gully been doing in the shows, man?
Cause you know, I didn't have him in the last show because he got a little funny on me because I got an old school red nose, man. He's 12 years old, and they never had a problem. And then when the puppies came, Gully just like he tends to these puppies like they're his own, and the red nose wasn't fond of the puppies and how they jump all over him, so he'd be trying to growl at them and snap at them, and then him and Gully got into a big fight one day. And ever since then, Gully's been kind of funny about other dogs, so, I'm just giving him a little rest and trying to bring him to the dog parks, bring around more dogs and, soften him up a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And, man, I really, man, appreciate you coming on tonight, man, telling your story.
Yes,
Letting people know more about you, man, the style that you do with
we covered it all today.
We covered it all, man. I got to come to the shop, man. I got to come get a tap, man, with my logo, man.
Yeah, we got to cover up that panther you got on here.
Hey, man, that's gonna stay, man. That's my first joint, man. I ain't know that. Like you said, I was like, well, what else can I get on this wall? I said, well, dang, Black Panther. I'm thinking Black Panther. I said, yeah, let me get the Panther.
Yes, sir.
Man, I know it got to be a lot.
Man, don't forget the Urban Tattoo Convention, June 27th, 28th, and 29th. You can go to www.nycutc.com. You can get tickets. You can check out last year's footage. It was a good show.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna put that the flyer and the link on my website so people can check it out.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate you, Zeb. Zeb Pitt.
Oh no.
And I'm gonna see you.
Thank you, man.
Next show.
All right, man. Any last shout outs before we get off, man?
Yeah, that's about it. Shout out to everybody. Come out to the Urban Tattoo Convention, man, to support this movement, man. Come support this, man. Any urban artists, any tattoo artists, people of color, come to holler at us, man. Grab a booth, come out there and meet everybody. All love.
All right, man. Thank you for coming on tonight, man.
No doubt, man. Peace and love, brother.
All right, peace.
One.
That was Fliction, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I hope you really enjoyed the interview tonight, man. I'm glad he came on to give a little insight, a whole lot of insight, rather, into the world of tattooing. His love for his bullies, man. His traveling RV. He got the convention coming up, the UTC convention. You'll find more information on my website about it, www.bullytalkwithzebpitts.com. Once again, I got the show coming up August 16th, the Massachusetts Bully Blowout 2. Man, I really appreciate them bringing your boy out to that show. I can't wait, man. Get a lot of footage with the weight pulling, regular shows. That's an IBKC event, and I'm really IBKC event. I'm really looking forward to it. And I just really appreciate all the listeners who tuned in tonight. Also want to give a shout-out to all the mothers out there for Mother's Day. Well, we passed at midnight now. Well, yesterday. And shout-out to my man Mike. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday. Well, that was yesterday. Happy birthday, big dog. I appreciate him coming on, co-hosting last week, man. Just tune in for the rest of the shows coming up in the future. I really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you all. As we do on every Sunday night, go out on a positive note. God bless.